Here's Brody Brazil.
So I got to tell you, I really appreciate it when people come up to me and say they're watching the YouTube channel and they're enjoying the content. That means so much to me. This is a passion project. It's a new direction. It's something that I actually enjoy, and I put a lot of work into it, so I'm glad that people are getting something out of it. But my next question usually right back to them is, what else do you watch on YouTube? And I promise I'm not even asking that from a strategic sense. I'm just curious. I want to know what everybody else is watching on here because it's like a custom fit. There's so many different topics and conversation and so much material and content out there for you to enjoy. YouTube's like a custom fit. And so I think it says a lot about somebody based on what they watch, what they enjoy. And then I thought I should actually do a video sharing maybe 10 channels that I watch on a regular basis. Now, in all fairness, I could have added another 10. I just didn't think it would be exciting. It'd probably get too boring and monotonous. So there are more than just these 10. But if I had to narrow it down to maybe a top 10, this is probably how it looks. And by the way, this is in no particular order. However, this first one is one that I watch almost every day. It's called Office Hours Global. They're a panel-based show, and they literally are global. They have guests and panelists from across the world 7 days a week. Every single day they've been doing this now for almost 4 straight years. They started at the beginning of 2020 out of need, out of maybe boredom and availability. And this show, I should have explained what it is. They do so much education and experience-based conversation on remote production, media production, streaming, all the stuff like literally that I'm doing here in the home studio. They're talking about it on Office Hours. They have guests on a regular basis. It is just such an informative thing. And actually, somebody like me who's been around production for more than, 25 years now, I kind of got away from it a little bit. I got not disinterested in it, but I wasn't as up to speed with like the cutting edge of what's happening in techniques and equipment and everything you can do in this world of visual content production. I kind of got away from it. And getting back into this show, which I watch and appreciate every day, they go 2 hours every single day. It's gotten me back into kind of a foundation of who I really am. So highly recommend you check out Office Hours. More production. As you can tell, this is one of my passions. It's like what I do for work, but I'm big into the audio visual mediums. Tombuck does a great job. He's down in Southern California. This is a production-based channel. He talks about microphones and mixers and cameras and lighting. Tom's got a great approach. It's just him on the channel. Like it's not a panel type thing or a group discussion. He brings some pretty awesome dad jokes. And he's a hockey guy. Not only a hockey guy, he's gotten into being a goaltender for an adult league. So I like Tom for a lot of different reasons. I just like his smooth, clean, simple approach, honest and straightforward. Feel like you're listening to a friend talk about equipment or, like I said, techniques or new things to try. And that's the thing about production. It's constantly changing. It has evolved so much, like with home studios and such, in the last handful of years that it is important to keep pace and to keep up with all the developments. Okay, then we get into my other passion, aviation. As a lot of you know, I am a certified commercial pilot and flight instructor, and I have been for, well, a lot of years now. But I enjoy this channel, Flying with Rich. He is in aircraft sales down in Southern California, and his job is to basically show off a lot of the airplanes, fly them around, do maintenance checks, make sure everything is looking and feeling and flying as it should. And so he's in jets, he's in twins, he's in single-engine pistons, he's in pretty much everything, and he flies so well. So it's the variety of different airplanes he's flying. It's his technique. He's also a very good, calm, casual pilot, detailed, very skilled, very organized and efficient. But Flying with Rich is kind of an educational thing for a lot of people that want to get into flying. If you want to watch how a professional pilot operates, and I don't mean like he's not an airline captain, he works in the aviation business, but he is a really good pilot, flying a bunch of different planes, shooting approaches, doing visual flights, all that fun stuff down in the Southern California area. Flying with Rich, really good content and high production value, really got to say. Another aviation-based channel, this one is called blancolirio. That's Juan Brown. he is an airline pilot, and he is my, I want to say, go-to for aviation news and incidents. How do I say this? And not in a morbid way, but when something happens in aviation, those of us who have been around it or are pilots or work for an airline, we just want to know, like, what happened, how did it happen, and how can we make sure, if it's bad, that it never happens to us? How can we avoid it? And Juan does such a great job of taking breaking news, kind of putting a wrapper around it, presenting it to you to understand, well, here's what happened, here's the next level beyond it, here's what he knows about it. He's been an aviator for, I don't want to put a date or age on him here, but a lot of years. Like, he's very seasoned. And so it's his expertise in the industry that I appreciate and rely on, and I trust what he says. Again, there haven't been too many times where I watch something and even disagree. Usually I'm learning something, but if it's also something I know something about, I'm usually like, yep, you got it. You're absolutely spot on, correct. And so the blancolirio channel, definitely worth a follow if you're into aviation. You know what else I like? Bowling. That's something else, like production. Now, I've been working in production the entire time, but I used to bowl a bunch in the 2000s. Is that the aughts? Is that what the decade's called? And I kind of got away from it in the 2010s, got busy with work and starting a family and getting married and all that stuff. But in the last year or so, I've gotten back into bowling. Got a couple new bowling balls, got some new shoes, got a new bag, did the whole refresh. And Brunsnick, I started watching bowling videos. I like Brunsnick's style. He bowls kind of like how I do, technique-wise. We have similar mechanics. And he's almost kind of like an instructor. Now, what he's doing usually is testing out bowling balls, and he's not so much teaching as he is just demonstrating. But sometimes I just sit and listen and watch, and I watch him bowl, and I watch what he's talking about, and I understand he does a good job of speaking to the visuals, because it's kind of hard to learn bowling from somebody just on a video. Like, if you can't see it right, it's not the right angle. But I usually can plainly see exactly what he's talking about and what he's trying to translate. So Brunsnick, and I believe his channel, when, I don't know, I started watching maybe 6-8 months ago, it was a lot smaller. I think it's grown pretty quick. So I don't know the competition in the bowling sphere on YouTube in terms of content creators, but he's good. And if there's room for growth and there's room for that, then he's definitely going to grow and he's going to be pretty big. I do enjoy some Brunsnick videos. Brunsnick's back, as he says. All right, Marquez Brownlee, mkbhd, one of the OG YouTubers, because he's in HD now. When is he going to change it to be an MKB 4K or 8K? Because he's got the red cameras that he shoots with that are probably up to like 12K now. I love Marquez. And you know what? He's so genuine. And he tackles car topics, computer topics, video topics. He's like a production guy, but he's not really into the actual, like, here, I'm going to show you how I edit something. He's more of just a straight up tech guy. And it's practical tech. It's the stuff that we use all the time. Your phone, the Apple Watch, everything. He's got the was it Vision Pro headset? Is that what it's called? He's already done, the full pace in that thing. He's driven this cyber truck around for 1,000 miles and is here to tell you all about it. So he's well connected. But I think it's one thing to be somebody that gets everything first and gets all these benefits, but he does such a good job reviewing and explaining. And look, he's got 1 billion followers or subs. Like, I don't need to be here promoting him, but I just want to say this is somebody I like and appreciate and enjoy. And to be quite honest with you, he's not like a trained broadcaster, so to speak, as apparently I am, but he's got such a smooth, natural presentation and style. And so mkbhd is the man. Oh, AngeloShoeShine. That's an ASMR channel. Yep, your boy's watching ASMR. I got to tell you, I get addicted to this channel. It literally is that camera angle. It's a top-down view of somebody getting their shoes shined. And it's not the same person. It's a bunch of different people. It's actual clients that come in with shoes of all kind. I've seen sneakers. I've seen basketball shoes. I've seen work boots. I've seen pretty much everything, dress shoes. And if that's Angelo comes in, he rubs him down, he does There's no talking. There's no talking on this channel at all. It's just, it's all that stuff. It's the visuals and the sounds of somebody getting their shoe shine. Then he does the scraping. See, I'm almost doing an ASMR video here. He does the scraping of all the dirt and debris, and he takes a lighter and fixes the end of the laces that are fraying. I mean, it's just, there's something satisfying about this. And it's not just because the shoes always get cleaned in the end and you're like, whoa, totally refurbished. I mean, I chose this screenshot. That's usually what they come in looking like on the right. And he's almost done with the left shoe right there, the left boot. There's something so satisfying about this channel. And it's not just the ASMR. It just calms me down. And I just go, And my brain goes 10 other places while I watch this. Yeah. I should do an ASMR video on this channel. Wait, I've already done that. Never mind. Never again. Well, okay, speaking of audio that you can actually hear, now this is a podcast called 20,000 Hertz. And I think they're just kind of joining the YouTube space. They've been a typical and traditional podcast, but it's an audio-based podcast. What do I mean by that? So many times somebody like me gets caught up in the visuals, like, ooh, look at that shot. Look at that 8K shot. Look at the high definition, the shallow depth of field. Look at the lighting of this. It's all about the visuals, but this is a podcast strictly about sound, audio, and I guess acoustics, all of the above. It's a tremendous companion to the visuals. It's also a tremendous companion for somebody like me who's driving a lot because I can't look at the phone, right? I'm driving. So I put this on, and a lot of times it's on their YouTube channel, which, like I said, they've just started to put all their content on YouTube. And I play the video, but I'm just listening because that's all you really need to do. And it is so well produced. Dallas Taylor is the name of the host. And the program just navigates like sound effects. Like, for example, the Microsoft Windows startup sounds over the years. Like, this is so fascinating. How did they come up with those? Who made those? What was the evolution of those? Why did they choose that? What did the first one sound like? What did the fifth one sound like? How did they go from one to the next? Anyway, stuff like that. It's just brilliant. They also did a recent one on the 808. You know, like the drum machine. Is it a Roland TR-808? And they give you the whole history of how it got introduced into music and how it still exists into music. Just a really good podcast for anybody who appreciates audio, appreciates music or sounds. It's a great one. Practical Engineering is fantastic. Now, this is a big channel. They don't need me, little old me, talking about how good of content material they do. But this is like the education I wanted. How are sidewalks put together? I don't know. I saw one the other day. Why do train tracks not need expansion joints? It's crazy, right? Or how do like high tension power lines work? It's all very detailed stuff that should be 50 feet over my head, but it's explained so simply on this channel. And there's a variety of topics. It's one of those channels where I'll kind of scroll through the videos. I'm not necessarily looking for something, but I'm kind of just browsing and perusing, and I'm like, wait a second, I gotta know the answer to this one. I gotta figure this one out. Click on it, and 5 minutes later, feel like I'm an expert. Or at least I know a whole lot more about engineering and like, what is that thing over there? What does that thing actually do? Or how does that work? And a lot of times what's crazy is engineering is so much more simple than you'd expect, but you just couldn't figure it out unless somebody kind of gave you the details or the tips or the keys on it. This is the last one here, and this is kind of an interesting one. It's the BBCArchive channel. Now, what they do is take a bunch of old footage and news stories and clips and stuff that was popular on the BBC, British Broadcasting Channel. Wait, is that what it stands for? BBC? And what they're doing is digitizing history. They're taking all of these old film reels and tapes, and they're putting it on YouTube. This is stuff that was just going to live. British Broadcasting Corporation. Is that what I said before? That's what I meant to say. They're taking all this history that was just collecting dust and was not going to go anywhere else if it wasn't for YouTube and the internet, and they're putting it back up for people to see. And it gives you a great perspective of life 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 50 years ago, as long as they've been doing it, more than 100 years now, I think close to 100 years. I mean, some of the earliest stuff is so primitive, but maybe not 100 years, but close to it at this point. But it's the quality, the production value and quality. The BBC has always been so good at high production value. Everything looks and sounds good, even back in the day of film cameras, and it's been preserved in pristine condition. So you kind of feel like you're watching something that was yesterday, even though it might have been 30 years ago. And it's a lot of times clips they'll show you of history repeating itself. You're like, wait, we've already been through something like this. But other times it's to show you how much we've changed, or something is different, or a taste of what life used to be like a long time ago. But anyway, it's great, because where else would something like this, a vault like this, exist? Where else would you have access to it other than a place like YouTube? So I could have given you 10 more channels. I'm going to stop right there. We've already gone way too long, probably, but I just wanted to share 10 channels that I enjoy here on YouTube. And hey, you know what? Do me a favor before you go. You've lasted this long. If you have some channels you think I would like, tag them down below in the comment section. Also, don't forget thumbs up. That'll greatly help me and this channel. And if you're new here, you're just coming across me for the first time, I appreciate that. I'm glad you found me. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so I can definitely see you back here next time.